The ancient Egyptians lived in a world governed by their gods, where every element of existence was shaped by divine will. They believed that the rising and setting of the sun, the annual flooding of the Nile, and even the cycle of life and death were dictated by celestial forces. And like modern religions that often separate the divine from the mundane, Egyptian deities were present in every aspect of daily life. Farmers sought the blessings of the gods for a bountiful harvest, warriors called upon their protection in battle, and families prayed for health and prosperity. The gods were not distant or abstract concepts but living forces that shaped destiny, guiding and protecting the people who worshipped them. Egypt's pantheon was vast and complex, comprising gods and goddesses who represented nature, cosmic balance, and the afterlife. Some deities were more localized, venerated in specific cities or regions, while others gained widespread devotion across the kingdom. Many of these gods were depicted with human bodies and animal heads, symbolizing their divine attributes. The falcon-headed Horus stood for kingship and protection, while the jackal-headed Anubis oversaw mummification and the passage into the afterlife. Their myths and stories explain the forces of the universe, providing moral lessons and justifying the power structures that ruled Egypt. The belief in these gods created a strong cultural identity, binding people together through shared traditions and rituals. The relationship between the gods and the people was not passive. It was actively maintained through worship, rituals, and grand architectural feats. Pharaohs, seen as the earthly representatives of the gods, reinforced their divine authority by building temples and commissioning elaborate ceremonies to honor the deities. These temples were not just places of prayer but centers of political and economic power, housing priests who interpreted divine will. Offerings of food, incense, and precious goods were made daily to keep the gods appeased, ensuring harmony between the heavens and the earth. Festivals brought entire communities together, with processions, music, and theatrical reenactments of sacred myths solidifying the connection between mortals and the divine. To understand ancient Egypt is to understand its gods, for they shaped not only religion but also government, law, and society itself. The gods dictated the principles of math, the concept of balance and justice that governed both the universe and human affairs. The afterlife was not merely a spiritual idea but a continuation of life, heavily influenced by one's relationship with the gods. Every aspect of Egyptian civilization, from monumental tombs to everyday superstitions, was rooted in a worldview centered on divine presence. Even as time passed and foreign influences arrived, Egypt's devotion to its gods endured, leaving behind a legacy that still fascinates the world today. Ra, the supreme sun god, was the most revered deity in ancient Egypt, embodying creation, light, and life itself. As the sun rose each morning, it was seen as Ra's divine presence blessing the world with warmth and vitality. He was the ultimate force behind existence, credited with forming the earth, sky, and all living beings. His name echoed in prayers, hymns, and inscriptions, reinforcing his dominance in Egyptian theology. And like many gods who had specific roles, Ra's influence permeated every aspect of life, from agriculture to governance. Without his daily journey across the sky, there would be no life, no growth, and no order. The belief in his eternal cycle gave the Egyptians a profound sense of stability, ensuring that chaos never triumphed over harmony. Ra's journey was not confined to the daylight hours. His influence extended into the depths of the underworld. As the sun set, he descended into Duat, the mysterious realm of the dead, where he faced his greatest adversary Apophis, the serpent of chaos. Each night, Apophis attempted to devour Ra and plunge the world into darkness. Only through the combined strength of Ra and his divine entourage did the sun god prevail, emerging victorious at dawn. This cosmic battle symbolized the eternal struggle between order and chaos, reinforcing the belief that divine balance must be maintained. Egyptians honored Ra through sacred texts and spells inscribed in tombs, ensuring that the deceased could call upon his strength to navigate the dangers of the afterlife. The worship of Ra extended beyond temples and myths. It was deeply ingrained in the ruling class. Pharaohs claimed to be the living embodiment of Ra, reinforcing their divine right to rule. Heliopolis, the city of the sun, became the heart of Ra's worship, housing grand temples and obelisks that stood as testaments to his glory. The obelisks, often capped with gold to catch the sun's rays, symbolized Ra's divine power touching the earth. Priests dedicated elaborate rituals to him, offering food, incense, and hymns to ensure his favor. His presence was felt in daily life, from the structure of religious ceremonies to the architecture of pyramids, which were designed to reflect the rays of the sun, guiding the deceased pharaohs to their place beside Ra in the afterlife. Over time, Ra's worship evolved, merging with other major deities to reflect Egypt's changing religious landscape. The most significant of these was his fusion with Amun, the hidden god of air and creation, forming Amun-Ra, a deity of unparalleled power. This fusion reinforced Ra's supremacy, making him not only the creator but also the sustainer of kingship and divine will. His influence endured for centuries, with his name invoked in prayers, temple inscriptions, and royal decrees. Even as Egypt faced political shifts and external influences, Ra remained a symbol of divine order, his light and everlasting force guiding the kingdom through time. Osiris, the god of the afterlife, held a central role in Egyptian mythology, embodying death, resurrection, and eternal life. His story was one of betrayal and rebirth, shaping Egyptian beliefs about the journey beyond death. Once a wise and just king, Osiris was deceived and murdered by his envious brother, Set, who sought to usurp his throne. Set dismembered Osiris and scattered his body across Egypt, but his devoted wife, Isis, tirelessly searched for and reassembled him. Through her divine magic, she brought him back to life, allowing him to conceive their son, Horus, before he ultimately passed into the underworld. This myth became the foundation of Egyptian funerary traditions, reinforcing the belief that death was not an end but a transformation into the next realm. As the ruler of the underworld, Osiris presided over the judgment of souls in the Hall of Nat. Upon death, each soul faced the weighing of the heart ceremony, where Anubis placed the deceased's heart on a scale against the feather of Mat, the symbol of truth and justice. If the heart was light and free of sin, Osiris welcomed the soul into the blissful field of reeds, a paradise mirroring the earthly world. If the heart was heavy with wrongdoing, it was devoured by Ammit, the fearsome beast of judgment, and the soul was condemned to oblivion. This belief instilled a moral code among the Egyptians, encouraging them to lead virtuous lives in preparation for their final judgment. Temples and tombs contained inscriptions of the Book of the Dead, a collection of spells and prayers meant to guide souls safely through this perilous journey. Osiris was not only the god of the dead but also a symbol of renewal and fertility. His association with the Nile's annual flooding reinforced this connection, as the river's life-giving waters brought new growth to the land just as Osiris himself had been reborn. Farmers celebrated his role in agriculture, believing that his spirit infused the soil, ensuring abundant harvests. The green color of his skin, often depicted in artwork, signified vegetation and regeneration, linking him to the cycles of nature. His presence was deeply woven into Egyptian society, influencing both religious practices and daily life. Festivals held in his honor reenacted his myth, strengthening the bond between the people and their god, reminding them of the promise of life beyond death. The worship of Osiris endured for centuries, spreading beyond Egypt's borders into neighboring cultures. His cult, centered in Abydos, attracted pilgrims who sought blessings for the afterlife. Even as new religious influences emerged, Osiris remained a powerful figure, his myth evolving but never fading. He represented hope, justice, and the eternal nature of existence, offering reassurance that death was merely a transition. His story continues to captivate historians and scholars, standing as one of the most profound and enduring aspects of ancient Egyptian belief. Through Osiris, the Egyptians found comfort in the unknown, secure in the promise of an afterlife shaped by divine justice and renewal. Isis was one of the most beloved and powerful deities in ancient Egypt, embodying motherhood, magic, and protection. And like many gods who remain distant figures, Isis was deeply personal to her worshippers, offering comfort and guidance in their daily lives. She was known for her unparalleled wisdom and sorcery, which she used to resurrect her husband, Osiris, after his murder. Through her devotion, she ensured that their son, Horus, survived to reclaim his rightful place as king. Her myth was one of resilience and determination, making her an enduring symbol of love and strength. Egyptians saw her not only as a divine mother but also as a protector who could heal, guide, and shield them from harm. Isis's role extended far beyond her own family. She was the guardian of all who sought her aid. Women, especially mothers and expectant mothers, prayed to her for safe childbirth and the well-being of their children. Her maternal nature made her a goddess of home and family, reinforcing the idea that divine love and care were always present. But her power was not limited to domestic life. Travelers and sailors also invoked her name for safe passage, believing that her magic could calm storms and prevent misfortune. Her presence was felt in every aspect of Egyptian society, from royal ceremonies to household rituals, solidifying her status as a universal protector. Her influence was so profound that it transcended Egypt's borders, spreading into the Greek and Roman worlds. As her worship grew, she became associated with other goddesses, such as the Greek Demeter and the Roman Venus, further elevating her status as a divine mother figure. The Greeks and Romans built temples in her honor, and her cult flourished in cities far from the Nile. One of the most famous centers of her worship was the temple at Philae, where pilgrims from different cultures gathered to pay homage to her. Her priestesses preserved and passed down sacred knowledge, ensuring that her wisdom endured through generations. To her followers, Isis was more than just a deity. She was a symbol of hope, resilience, and boundless love. Her stories taught that devotion and perseverance could overcome even the greatest hardships. Whether in the myths of ancient Egypt or the temples of later civilizations, her legacy endured for centuries, touching the hearts of countless people. Even today, her name remains synonymous with protection and feminine strength, a testament to her lasting impact on history and spirituality. Anubis, the enigmatic jackal-headed god, held a sacred role in the Egyptian afterlife, ensuring that the dead received the care they needed for their journey beyond. His presence was felt in the dimly lit chambers of tombs, where priests invoked his name during mummification rituals. As the god of embalming, he was responsible for preserving the body, believing that only through proper preservation could the soul find peace in the afterlife. His black skin, reminiscent of the fertile soil of the Nile, symbolized both death and rebirth, a powerful reminder that from decay came renewal. The ancient Egyptians placed their faith in Anubis, trusting him to guide them safely into the next world. Anubis was not only a guardian but also a judge, playing a crucial role in the weighing of the heart ceremony. In this sacred ritual, he stood beside Osiris, carefully weighing the heart of the deceased against the feather of Mat, the embodiment of truth and justice. If the heart was pure and light, the soul was granted passage to the blissful field of reeds. If it was heavy with sin, Ammit, the devourer of souls, would consume it, condemning the individual to oblivion. Anubis's impartial hand ensured that only the righteous found peace, reinforcing the importance of a virtuous life. This belief instilled a deep sense of morality among the Egyptians, shaping their actions in the hope of securing a favorable judgment. Beyond the underworld, Anubis also served as the protector of tombs and cemeteries. His association with jackals likely stemmed from their presence near burial sites, where they scavenged for remains. To the Egyptians, this behavior was reinterpreted as guardianship rather than desecration, leading them to depict Anubis as a vigilant overseer of the dead. Many tombs bore his image, a testament to the people's trust in his ability to shield them from grave robbers and malevolent spirits. Priests who performed burial rites often wore jackal masks, symbolizing their connection to Anubis and their role in ensuring the proper passage of the soul. Over time, Anubis's influence endured, and his image became one of the most recognizable in Egyptian mythology. Though Osiris eventually took precedence as the ruler of the underworld, Anubis remained its gatekeeper, guiding souls with unwavering dedication. His legacy extended beyond Egypt, appearing in later cultures and mythologies that drew inspiration from the beliefs of the Nile civilization. To the ancient Egyptians, Anubis was not just a deity of death but a compassionate guide, ensuring that no soul was lost in the vast darkness of the afterlife. His presence on tomb walls and in sacred texts served as a constant reassurance that, in death, one was never truly alone. Thanks for tuning into the past. Don't forget to subscribe and join me for more stories that shaped our world.